Hey everybody, this is a lesson on solving equations that have variables on both sides. Now I call this part one. These are three-term equations. So on one side of the equal sign, you're going to have two terms, and on the other side of the equal sign, you're going to have one term. So we're still going to use our box method. We are going to box the term that is by itself. Now this time, that term is going to have an x. Now remember, if you box a term, that means it cannot move. So my rule is if you box an x, you have to move an x. Okay, so look at the x term that's on the other side and move it into the box by adding or subtracting. Okay, and you'll do that from both sides. Then you're going to box the constant. This will be your step 2. And remember, a constant is a term that doesn't have a variable, just a plain number. And then your last step will be to divide by the coefficient of x. And remember, I taught you this little rhyme. When a number and an x are side by side, you need to divide. And that's going to be your last step for these. All right, so let's take a look at our first example. 9x plus 15 equals 12x. So you can see we've got two terms on the left side, 9x and 15. We've got a single term on the right side, 12x. And that's the one that we're going to box. It's by itself, so it cannot move. Now again, the rule is if you box an x, you move an x. So that means we're going to move our 9x into the box. And we have to do this by adding or subtracting. Our goal is to still make a zero pair. So if I have positive 9x, I need to subtract 9x. Do it there and in your box. Okay, 9x minus 9x. That is 0. So that's what we wanted to happen. So you can see I brought down my 15 and then calculate your box. So 12x minus 9x is 3x. All right, ready for step 2. We're going to box our 15 and the 3 and the x are side by side, so we need to divide. And you always divide by the coefficient of x, which is 3. Remember that the fraction bar here means divide. So 3x divided by 3 is just 1x. We don't have to put the 1. And then calculate the box. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So my answer for this equation is x equals 5. Now again, to check it, we just take our original equation, and everywhere where we had an x, I'm going to put parentheses. And inside the parentheses, I'm checking the answer 5. And we want to see if the left side equals the right side. So 9 times 5 is 45 plus 15. And 45 plus 15 equals 60. And then on the right side, 12 times 5 equals 60. Since these two are equal, we know we got it right. Okay, in example 2, our term that's by itself, the 12x, is on the left side of the equation. But that's okay. We're still going to box that term and then move the other x term into the box. So if I box 12x, I need to move my negative 2x. To make a zero pair with a negative 2, I have to add 2 to both sides. So plus 2x. That's what makes this a zero pair. All right, I always go from left to right, so I start with my box. 12x plus 2x is 14x equals, now you have to be careful right here. I see a 70 that needs to come down, but there is a minus in front of it. So I need to bring it down as negative 70. And then for your last step, since we have 14x, when they're side by side, you need to divide. So you'll divide by 14. 14 divided by 14 is 1x, which is just x. And negative 70 divided by 14 is negative 5. All right, let's check it. Rewrite your original equation. And everywhere where there was an x, I'm going to put in a negative 5. Okay? Start right here on the left. 12 times negative 5 is negative 60. All right, let's check the right side. -2 times -5 is 10. And then 10 minus 70 is -60. Since these matched, I know I got the answer correct. All right. Lastly, we're going to do a word problem where we're going to write an equation and solve it. So it says Javier is running for class president and is ordering campaign stickers to give to his friends. One company charges 50 cents per sticker plus a $12 artwork fee. Another company charges 80 cents per sticker but no fee. For how many stickers would Javier pay the same amount at both companies? All right, so when we set up our equation, we're comparing two companies. So we're going to write an expression for one company on the left, the other company on the right. So let's start with the first one. They charge 50 cents per sticker. Now, wherever you see this word per, that's your clue that that's where your variable goes. Okay, so 50 cents per sticker. I'm going to use an S for stickers, plus $12 for the artwork fee. Okay, so that's the first company. I'm going to set that equal to what the other company charges. The other company charges 80 cents per, there's that word again, sticker. So 0.80 S. Okay, so that's our equation, and now we're going to solve it. So box the term that is by itself. That's going to be the 80S, or 0.80S. Okay, if I box an S, I have to move an S. So I'm going to subtract 50 cents S. Okay. Zero pair there. So I have 12 equals 80 cents minus 50 cents is 30 cents. And then last step, when they're side by side, you need to divide. So I'm going to divide by 0.30. And then when you calculate 12 divided by 0.30, you get 40. So if he bought 40 stickers, both companies would cost the same amount. And that's our lesson on solving three term equations that have variables on both sides.